Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Today I'm going to review a little product, and I'm going to try a product that I've had it a little while actually, but I've been waiting for the ideal gun to put it on, and it's a Caldwell AR15 Picatinny rail brass catcher. Now you may have seen I did a video on the universal brass catcher, which is more appropriate to bolt action rifles or some semi-autos. This one is fairly specific to AR15s, and the reason for that is, unlike the universal one, which folds out of the way if necessary to operate the bolt or any of the mechanisms, this one is designed for AR15s, which are in the US semi-auto or full auto, which have the T-handle on the back to operate the cocking system. Now, because this is going to fit quite close into the action, if you've got a side handle single shot AR15 like in the UK, it possibly won't work. You might just need to see on the design of your exact actual firing handle and the way it fastens to the bolt carrier, but with the T-handle these work perfectly. Now fitting it is, I will be honest, it's a little bit fiddly because we all seek to have a scope that's as close down to our rifle as possible. Now the simple way of doing this is we can either take the scope off or we can just jiggle it around and fit it underneath. Now it comes with a Torx key, so you can use it for actually fastening the clamps on it, and as well as the clamp that goes on the Picatinny rail here, there is also a clamping mechanism on top of the actual bag which allows you to move the bag backwards and forwards to make sure it's locked down in the exact best position for you to get the most reliable ejection and catching of brass. So I'm going to put this on the gun. Now I have actually already adjusted the length of it so that it's all the way to the back of this, and now I'm just going to put it onto the Picatinny rail. So I've just got to very carefully nestle this underneath the scope, which may or may not be truly visible on camera, and we've got to just clip it onto the Picatinny rail. And as I said, it is easier to do this with your scope off, but it's not impossible, and I have had this on and off once already. It's just a case of making sure you've got it just lined up, and once it's in position it actually locks down very neatly and absolutely permanently. So I was being a little bit tentative with that, but it's actually in position perfectly now. So now I've got full access to the T-handle cocking system. I'll just take the magazine out of this rifle because it actually locks the bolt back. So now I've got full access to the T-handle, which doesn't reciprocate on firing, and of course there's nothing external on the right side of the bolt which is going to catch into that bag. And if I do need to operate it, I've got full control on the T-handle as always. The left side bolt release catch isn't affected at all. Neither is the safety catch. If I cock that, I've still got full access here, and if I wanted to lock that bolt back, the follower in this rifle does it automatically, but if it didn't have the magazine in, I can still do that manually. And on the opposite side, if we look and lift the bag out the way slightly, I've still got straight line access to the magazine release catch there. Although it looks like I can, because I come straight up from the trigger guard underneath it. So I've got no trouble operating that magazine release. And there is nothing on the rifle on that side I need to touch, because it is designed for AR-15s in semi-auto or fully auto format. So now I'm going to take this to the range and I'm going to avoid dropping brass everywhere, because these things are great, fast fire, fun to shoot. The downside is you do need to sweep up your brass afterwards, and this will all catch in the carrier bag here, which is a mesh lightweight component, so it's got loads of room for absolutely loads of brass. And when you've finished with it, you simply unzip it and tip the brass out of the bottom, and then before you start shooting again, you remember to zip it back up. Just looking at the box here, it does say on it that the approximate brass capacity is 100 rounds for 223 or 308, which is obviously AR-10 compliant rather than AR-15 compliant. It's durable steel frame, it's got aluminium Picatinny mounting on it, and it comes with instructions to tell you how to put it together, and also it's got a Torx key with it, although I did use my workshop Torx keys. So let's go to the range and take it shooting. So when you finish shooting, all you really have to do is hold it over a container, unzip the bottom, and out comes all the brass. And I'm very glad I've not been sweeping all that up off the ground on this field. We spilled a few cases, less than 5% of what we shot. Now we're just really, during gun handling, if you just spilled a few out the side of the bag.